He has a white beard, he's jolly, he's one of the only people who can pull off a red suit. He has 9 of the most peculiar pets out there, and he brings joy to all. Who is he?
Samuel L. Jackson.
It would be very difficult to find an American out there who doesn't know who Santa Claus is. Just thinking about Santa brings great memories flooding to my mind, as I'm sure it does the rest of you. Who doesn't love Christmas music, the smell of the tree, hot cocoa, and of course presents? But whether you celebrate Christmas or not, the very image of this man is enough to give you a warm feeling of joy. It was really difficult for me to decide on a topic to do this speech on. I thought of everything. I thought of even cupcakes, books, music, everything I could think of. Then it dawned on me, why not do this speech on the icon of my favorite holiday? I wouldn't consider myself a Santa expert per se, but I've always been really interested in the origin of Christmas. Also, being Catholic, I learned a lot about the patron St. Nicholas growing up. Many have heard the term St. Nick, but I don't think many know the whole story behind the character of Christmas. Today, I'll explain to you a condensed version of the history of St. Nicholas and how he was later adopted into the man we all know as Santa Claus. The character Santa Claus was derived from the generous and religious man, St. Nicholas. Nicholas was born in Myra, Lycia, a Greek province of Asia Minor. Right there. He was born to wealthy Christian parents named Ephesus and Joanna, and his parents were killed while he was very young, and he was raised by an uncle who he was named after. His uncle was the Bishop of Patara. He inherited his parents' fortune and later used the money to help the poor, sick, and hungry. Nicholas was very religious from a young age, probably due to his uncle's obvious religious importance. Through the teachings of his uncle, he became a reader. He spent time in a monastery that his uncle created. From Roca.org, I got the story that he fell in love with the place and intended on spending the rest of his life there. But then it became clear that God was calling him to be a priest, so he began studying the law of God. St. Nicholas became the parish priest of a village church after his ordination. He was very hardworking and well-respected, but he was most known to the parish for his loving and giving ways and unmeasurable charity. One day, the Archbishop of Myra died, and all the bishops, as well as priests and people in the town, gathered to choose the successor. They kept a vigil and prayed all night long in the cathedral, begging God to guide them. God revealed to one of the bishops that the first priest to enter the church in the morning should be the new archbishop. At sunrise, Father Nicholas came quietly into the cathedral to say his morning prayers. They believed that in this way, Lord God revealed his choice to the archbishop, or for the archbishop. And there's some pictures of different icons and stuff of him as a saint and the archbishop. Aside from his religious accomplishments, Nicholas was most known for his generous ways. He had a strong reputation for giving gifts to the poor. Because of this incredible generosity, after St. Nicholas died, he became the patron saint of children as well as sailors. One of his most famous stories, which I found on whychristmas.com, tells of a poor man who had 3 daughters. He was so poor he did not have enough money for a dowry, so his daughters couldn't get married. One night, Nicholas secretly dropped a bag of gold down the chimney of the house. The bag fell into a stocking that was drying by the fire. This was repeated later with the second daughter. Finally determined to discover the person who was giving the money, the father secretly hid by the fire every evening until he caught Nicholas dropping in a bag of gold. Nicholas begged the man not to tell anyone what he had done because he didn't want to bring attention to himself. But soon the news got out, and when anyone receives a secret gift, it was thought to be from Nicholas. After his death, it became customary for people to give gifts like candy and a pair of shoes left out overnight to honor St. Nicholas around Christmas season. Another story that I found on whychristmas.com tells of him helping some sailors that were caught in a terrible storm off the coast of Turkey. The storm was raging all around them, and all the men were terrified that their ship would sink beneath the giant waves. They prayed to St. Nicholas to help them. Suddenly, he was standing on the deck before them. He ordered the sea to be calm, and the storm died away. They were able to sail their ship safely to port. So that's why he became the patron saint of sailors as well. In the 16th century Europe, the stories and traditions about St. Nicholas became very unpopular. Even though his fame was dying out, the children still needed their presents. In the UK, he became known as Father Christmas, and there were stories centered around that. there are many children's stories centered around that. In France, he became Pierre Noël, which is just the French version of Father Christmas. In Germany, he became known as Christ Kind, and in the early USA, he became known as Kris Kringle. Later, Dutch settlers in the U.S. took the story of St. Nicholas with them, and Kris Kringle became Sinterklaas, or now we say Santa Claus, which I found on Wikipedia. Many countries, especially ones in Europe, celebrate St. Nicholas Day on the 6th of December. In Holland and some other countries, children leave their shoes out to be filled with presents, just like he did for some children around the town. Most children receive their presents on Christmas Eve night or early Christmas morning, but in some countries they don't receive it till St. Nicholas Day, or they receive it on St. Nicholas Day, which would be December 6th. So there's pictures of him. That's a picture, like a famous picture of him being known as the patron saint of children, and then that's one of the sailors. And then here's just some Santa pics. A fun fact, St. Nicholas putting the bag of gold in the stocking is probably where the custom of having a tangerine at the bottom of your stocking comes from. If people couldn't afford gold, some golden fruit was a good replacement. In closing, I hope this year, when the whole family is gathered around the tree opening presents from Santa, you'll remember St. Nicholas and the real meaning of Christmas.
All right, have we heard from everyone? All right. When we get together on Monday, we will start our module on persuasion. You will have all the tools that you need to answer the first, or rather the last discussion board, the persuasion discussion board, at the conclusion of class on Monday. We will also talk a little bit more detail about persuasion on Wednesday, although that won't really be related to your last discussion board. The final class period that we will be meeting will be the week after that, and we will do a group persuasion exercise. We will do it as a group, but you'll have an opportunity to compete as an individual. You will be attempting to persuade your classmates about something. Students usually really enjoy that competition. After that, we have 3 class periods that are related to your giving of your persuasive speeches. So I guess what I'm trying to stress to you, without the benefit of looking at your schedule, although many of you just completed your speech, don't think that you have as much time in between the speeches as you've had the rest of the semester. I try to throw a speech in there about once a month. We put a lot of tools in the toolbox between the narrative and the biography. We put less tools in the toolbox between the biography and the informative, but now, because all of you have longer to speak, we have more days devoted to completing a go-round of speeches. So if you are one of the students who feel like there wasn't a whole lot of time between the biography and the informative, that's going to be even more pronounced between these next 2 speeches. Just kind of the rhythm of the class. We could put all the speeches off to the end, put all the tools in the toolbox before, but then you would have 4 speeches, essentially in November and December, whenever you have other finals to study for and stuff like that. So that pace tends to work, I think, the best for you as students. So be thinking about what you're going to be doing your persuasive speech about. Start pulling in some materials for that. I will have your grades posted and your feedback emailed to you. Should be before close of business on Friday.
So our next speech is Monday?
Like next week? No. We're going to have our modules on persuasion, and then we'll have another week in between those modules of persuasion, and then the Wednesday, 2 weeks from now, speeches will start.
Are we drawing names out of hat?
No, you've already drawn for your group. We're using the same groups. But the order is changed, whereas we started off with Group A is last this next time.
Oh,
shit. Teamwork, sir.
Victor, give me a call.
Oh, never mind.
Give me a call
Okay, we're talking
in the next
about
couple of days. We'll talk about the video self-analysis.
That's what I was gonna tell you, actually, if I can get your number right now.
Yeah, you bet. 945-3296. And I'm there most days, 9 to 5.
When will you be there, like, will you be there, like, right now?
No, I have a meeting with some folks about a grant.
Okay, when can I call?
I should be, no, that's the office phone.
Okay.
I should be there between 4 and 5.
Okay. Okay.
If not, if you'll just leave me a message.
I'll leave you a message,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll call you back.
All right.
All right,
Take it
Victor.
easy.
We'll see you.
You say it's gonna be in a group thing?
The exercise, the game that we're gonna play.
Oh,
Is a group thing. The speech is still.
Give me an
individual.
example on persuasive speech.
You bet. Switch your light bulbs from a compact fluorescent, or from incandescent to compact fluorescent.
And what?
Pardon? And then why?
Then it's still what?
Yeah, and then just tell why. It's gonna say what it is. So energy,
Well, not to use ethanol, use regular gas.
be more energy efficient. It's a retraining, take a computer class.
I'm gonna do mine on fuel.
Anytime that you're, giving a recommendation and trying to change things, it's perfect.
But I hate ethanol fuel. It ruined one of my motors on my boat. Thank you.
My grandpa does too. My grandpa does too.
Takes it,
Yeah.
and I outboard on my last boat.
You can
and
put a
it
little
wastes it.
STP in it though, right? And it knocks all those deposits out, right? So it's actually corroded.
Each one aluminum, makes the engine run harder, and it burn a hole in one of my pistons. It's like that in one day. I'll drive the hell out of it, but
So it won't, so the treatment won't fix it.
what are you saying, was it gonna bring it back to
No,
regular gas?
not if it's corroding it, no.
No, you're saying,
I was
what
just
was
talking
what
about
STP
positives.
for?
I was just talking about positives.
Oh, the positives that it's caused?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Come on, don't even put it in there. Don't even start. Don't do it. Don't start drugs, don't start ethanol.
I look forward to hearing your speech. That sounds good.
Oh,
Thanks, Tony.
Oh, Mr. Stone.
Yeah, Kathy. You, I know you didn't feel prepared, but you did just fine.
No, I didn't. I didn't even go through the steps of how you